Hello guys, Chris Vintomania, just the camera, back for one more video. I'm like the Christian of YouTube, I just keep coming back for one more video. Yeah, as I said in my last video to do with where I ramble on for 50 minutes, and I appreciate everyone who's watched it all. I appreciate it so much. Some great comments left, so thank you. Yeah, I said that I had one video left to talk about the VIP, the big stars that I met. Not that I'm saying the likes of the people that I met, weren't big, but obviously I had 3 VIPs and then one big name at WrestleCon. So I'm just going to talk quickly about John Cena. John Cena was an absolute pleasure to meet. He was the first VIP I met, which was on Friday. You kind of, whenever you're queuing up, like I queued up with Ben, as I said in my last video, for him, and whenever you're queuing up, you're kind of thinking, this is really surreal that John Cena is standing over there, and in a minute or two I'm going to go up to meet him. Now, as I've said, guy Rory Bradfield paid for me to go meet him because he wanted an autograph for one of his friends. So obviously if somebody's going to pay for you to go and meet a superstar like that, not a problem whatsoever. So this is the first time that I'd met John Cena, and kind of went up there, and he stuck his hand out and shook my hand and said, "Hello, how are you?" It was, he seemed very gracious, and he seemed to take his time, especially with the young kids, which John Cena is well known for. And like I said, but I'll reiterate, like I said, that I wasn't a fan of yours going into WrestleMania 29, but the fact that he was there week in, week out, cutting the promos on The Rock, and The Rock wasn't there, it made me like Cena more, whereas in 28 I was in The Rock's corner, no questions asked. In 29, kind of my allegiance switched, and I went to Cena. Like whenever he came out on WrestleMania or on Raw, I was standing there actually applauding him, and just said to him, that I was there last year in the MetLife whenever you were facing The Rock, and I didn't like you to begin with, and then you kind of, we kind of turned me into a fan of yours, with your work ethic, your your promos and things like that. And he was just like, "Oh, thanks for," and then it said to him about, people may not like you as a wrestler, but just respect the hell out of you for what you do, with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is true, and he has my utmost respect for them, with the stuff that he does for that. So what I'm going to do is going to just talk about each superstar and then put the photo in the middle. So yeah, so that was John Cena, and that was on the Friday. Okay, now we go on to the Saturday, which for me was probably the biggest day of them all. Not only do I have the Hall of Fame at night, but I had to get up ridiculously early in the morning, like about 6:30, or some ridiculous hour like that. And so did Ben, to be fair. He had to do that on Saturday and the Sunday. And that was to go down and meet my hero, my icon, the reason why I watch professional wrestling, which is Hulk Hogan. Again, like Ben was talking to me, and I was kind of just standing there, on the rail and kind of staring up, and he's hitting me, and I was like, "What?" And he's laughing because I'm just away with the fairies. I'm just in my element, my idol's standing right in front of me. Yes, I don't know why I did that, but yeah, so got up to meet the Hulkster. Thankfully, we arrived quite early, so he had a table, but he said he couldn't do it because, obviously if he was sitting down, he would have to bend forward, and that would hurt his back. So they actually moved the table out of the road. So that's why all the photos you get to see him standing beside you, which made it better. The likes of the John Cena one is great because he's standing up, but the likes of, say, the Shawn Michaels one, you're kind of leaning over a table, which for me it kind of looks a bit impersonal. I wish they would all just stand up. Or let you go round the back, and then they would stand up, and do it that way. But kind of just went up to him, and I went, "Hello, sir, a pleasure to meet you again." And he kind of looked at me, and I went, "I met you last year, this is my second WrestleMania, and 2 years on the trot, I never thought I would get to meet you, and I get to meet you again." He was like, "Oh, where did I meet you last year, brother?" And I went, "Oh, for WrestleCon." And he was just like, "All right," and kind of took my picture, thanked him again. And then they give you your wee WrestleMania Access card, which I'm not going to show you. Kind of looks a little bit like that. This is actually a wee handy map that you got, which I forgot to show you. But I would have your number down there, and I said, oh, I forgot to get me 8x10, and the guy was like, oh, you needed to ask for that while you were up there. I was like, well, nobody said to me. I didn't really care, but it was just something, like that I thought I could give to somebody else anyway. And then, obviously, on the Sunday, I met Shawn Michaels. This is my first time meeting Shawn Michaels, and he's another one of my big heroes, and very much like Mikey likes Bret Hart, I'm a huge Shawn Michaels fan. And I've always enjoyed his work. I mean, don't we all? I don't think you can name in one hand the amount of bad matches that Shawn Michaels has had, and if you do, then there's something wrong with you. So I just went up to him and I showed him what I got signed, and I'll explain in a minute, and kind of said that I didn't tell him to sign there, and he just laughed and kind of went, that's okay, man, plenty of cover left, I'm a grown man, no need to cry about it. And then kind of took a photo, shook his hand, said thank you very much for everything you've done, and that kind of thing, and kind of just tootled off. So I'll give you a better look at this. So this is my magazine. So as you can see, there's where Hogan signed, and then Shawn Michaels HBK. I decided to put the Hulk Hogan wristband and the Shawn Michaels wristband in. The Cena one is going to the person who actually paid for the Cena autograph. But the Saturday and Sunday were just, to meet those two, because that moment was one that I kind of didn't see coming and kind of was genuinely flabbergasted by. I remember just sitting there going, no, like, who'd I root for in this? Because they're both my favourites. Who'd I root for in this? So I just thought, right, I'll get that signed. Ideally, I was going to get the Hall of Fame thing signed by Hogan and then a different magazine signed by Michaels, but I just thought that looked better. And like last year, I got the Undertaker Hogan thing signed. I decided to get this signed. So again, I'll put the photos in after this. Yeah, so on the Sunday, I know I should have put this before the Shawn Michaels part, but I just wanted to integrate those two together because of the signature. The person we had to meet early in the morning was Sting. Sting was at WrestleCon, signed from 10:30. We were there really, really early. We were like second in line to go meet him, which was brilliant. Like they had super ticket people, but there was only like 20 of them, so they were done in like 10 minutes. I knew Chris would be really, really excited to meet Sting. This is one of his guys, like a lot of people like myself or Mikey would have two guys. Mikey would have Bret and Warrior, I would have Hogan, Austin, and he would have Kane and Sting. So I knew that this would be a big deal for him. And I thought, I haven't really seen Sting do many signings, and I had a magazine that I bought last year because I thought he's either going to be there or he would be somewhere, like if I get a chance to see him. So I thought, what the heck, while I'm there, I might as well do it. WrestleCon was kind of dead on the Sunday anyway, so this was the main reason for going over there. And, went up to him and just said, a pleasure to meet you, and asked him if he could make it out to Chris, and he said, yeah, sure, no problem. And I said, kind of said about Chris, like that he was a big fan and that kind of thing, and kind of took a photo. There wasn't really that much talk out of him. I don't know whether it was that case in that time of the morning or something like that. But like he was cordial enough, thanked me, shook my hand, and away I went, and got my photo with him. So this is what I got signed by Sting. Yeah, you can see there that I'm watching the NWO and the WWE Network. That's funny, that's weird, that there's the only one that's picked that up on, and it's a WCW. Oh my, that's kind of strange, so it is very surreal. So that was Sting, who I met, and I have to do one more part for this, and you can probably guess what it's about. Okay, so I've talked about Hogan, I've talked about Cena, I've talked about Michaels, and I've talked about Sting. But undoubtedly the highlight of WrestleMania weekend was meeting the Ultimate Warrior. I know I've already done a video on this, but with me saying about, the big guys that we've met, this was the most unexpected one. And like I've said, this was kind of the story of the trip, like getting to see Mean Gene Okerlund before I got on the plane, getting to see Scott Hall on the plane coming back and getting a photo, getting to see Ultimate Warrior whenever we're actually walking to WrestleMania. you know, and things like that don't really happen, and it's kind of surreal to know now that, you know, I'm recording this a week after WrestleMania, a week after we saw him, so that's why I decided just to put this in here. You know, and there were so many good people that I met, and it's not a case that they don't deserve to be in this here, but these are the big names that people have come into wrestling for. The Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Sting, John Cena are all household names, and these are the reason why, two of the reasons why I love wrestling is Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan, you know, and Ultimate Warrior certainly, you know, after watching the Ultimate Warrior Blu-ray, which I got from www.dvd.co.uk, if you haven't seen it, pick it up, because it's brilliant, especially the end part of it is quite sad, you know, hearing him saying about, you know, things to come and things like that, and you're like, oh dear. But yeah, that was just the highlight, was just walking along, seeing him, getting our photo taken with it, and us just being on cloud nine before we even got to WrestleMania. That was kind of like, you know, the Sunday kind of went like that and went like that and just kept going up, you know, and he was one of the main reasons why. You know, so it was great to get a chance to meet him and have a few seconds conversation with the man, and him, like everyone else, being cordial enough to get a photo taken. You know, whether people being in the street, you know, like you've seen other people, you know, like Ben had a photo with Hornswoggle. You know, like I'm sure there's other people who just went on the street and saw a wrestler or diva and got a photo taken with them. And that was the thing, was that, you know, like quite a lot, not all of them, but quite a lot of them would take the time to take the photo, and it'd kind of be surreal to say, like, if he said no, you know, like, and we're like, oh, right, okay, I'm kind of bummed out by that, but he said yes, you know, like, I think it was because of his Hall of Fame speech. He said, I'm the Ultimate Warrior, and you are the Ultimate Warrior fans, and the Ultimate Warrior fans are legendary, you know, like, and that's what he said, and, you know, like, us legendary fans got a chance to bump into him and spend a couple of minutes with him, and yeah, that kind of made the trip, you know. And yeah, so that's basically going to do it. This is my last video, unless I'm doing a collaboration with some other folk to do with WrestleMania. I just wanted to show you in more detail the stuff and tell you a quick story about them. So yeah, this will probably go up on the Monday or something like that. So yeah, thanks very much for watching, and until the next video, which will probably be to do something to do with, like, I don't know, what's the next event? WrestleMania 31? Till next video, folks.